In this video, I want to show you how we set up our ad campaigns for a lot of our clients and ourselves so you can achieve maximum results. And I'm actually going to show you a live example with a client's ads that we just set up today and how the results have already started coming in, how we're already profitable. And this is something that I do, like I said, with all of the clients that I work with and with myself in our own ads. And it gets us the best results as fast as possible. So let's get right into it. So in this example that I'm going to show in this video, we are setting up ads, and we have set up ads for a client that is looking for purchases for a live event that they're doing. Now, this can work in a very similar fashion if you're doing e-commerce, if you're doing a digital product, a physical product, whatever it is, booking calls, getting leads. The setup is very similar. So this is if we're coming at everything with a brand new objective, something that we haven't done before. This is usually how I set everything up. Maybe there's a few differences just because with this client, I've got some previous data and history with in the pixel, so I can be a little bit more gung-ho with it. So I'll address those things, but first things first, the structure. What I like to do is have one campaign, at least 3 ads inside of that campaign, and 1 ad per ad set. This is probably the most important thing when it comes to launching your campaign, maybe besides budget at first, is making sure that you're really isolating variables. If you have 3 ad sets, 3 ads per ad set, sure, Facebook is very smart and will probably optimize towards the thing that you want. But there's a chance that Facebook doesn't spend to the right ad that is actually a winner, or that it can do even better. And I don't want to know like probably what's working. I want to know what's actually working. So at first, when I'm launching stuff for the first time, 1 ad per ad set, and I'll do between 3 to maybe 4 ad sets. And the only difference within each one is each ad is different, and I'm testing a different audience in each one. So at first, I'm kind of testing broad and testing wide. In this case, for this client, we've got 3 ad sets, 3 different ads per ad set, and what I've set up here is 3 different audiences. So I have a single interest for each one of these. One of them is a freelancer interest, one is health and wellness, one is self-employment. And then if I had less data with this client, like if I didn't know totally what would have worked, I would have actually had one more ad set. So I'd have 4 ad sets in total. And that 4th one would be a broad campaign. Or I would just replace one of these ones. Like if health and wellness isn't a great one, or self-employment, I'd replace self-employment probably with like a very broad, wide open audience. Works very well, especially when you're launching a campaign at first. So that's the first thing that I'll do, is have those 3 ad sets. 2 of them have interests. Sometimes they're grouped between 3 to 4 sets of interests. Sometimes it's just a single interest, like in this case. And then I will do 1 that's broad, no targeting, wide open, and that'll be my 3rd and final ad set. Now, from there, budget. This is something that a lot of people get confused on and that I want to try to clear up as best as I can. So a great way to usually calculate your budget is to figure out what is the goal cost per conversion that you want to achieve. So let's say in this case, my goal is to achieve a $30 cost per sale, right? Well, if my goal is to hit a $30 cost per sale, Facebook usually needs 50 conversions per week to optimize for that certain thing. So if we do $30 per sale times 50 conversions a week, that means that I need to spend about $1,500 a week to get those sales, right? $1,500 a week divided into 7, meaning I should spend $214. Now that doesn't even necessarily mean $214 across the board. That's $215 per each ad set. However, that can be a pretty big budget to start off with, and a lot of people either can't do it, and I'd actually advise against starting with that high of a budget at first. With this campaign, we were a bit more aggressive. We started with around $100 a day for each of these because the client was willing to spend about $300 to $350 a day. However, if it were me or someone that didn't have as much budget, I was working with someone else that was doing this, I would actually recommend starting with a bit lower and maybe even starting around $50 to $70 a day. Now, this is specifically for a purchase campaign. Now, what's super important to understand here is that when you tell Facebook to optimize for a purchase, that is the only thing it's going to get you. So if you tell Facebook to optimize for a lead, but you're actually wanting a purchase on that page, they won't get you any purchases, you'll just get leads. And it's really important to understand that when you tell Facebook what you want, that's the only thing it's going to give you. That's why I think it's a huge problem, people trying to do like a campaign that optimizes for a landing page view or like an initiate checkout. it's cool because, yeah, sure, maybe you're getting some initiate checkouts, but you'll almost never get a purchase. So it's very, very important to optimize for the thing that you want. And bear in mind, because this is optimizing for a purchase, people are going to this page and they're purchasing a $47 thing. We're going to have to spend a little bit more. It's a higher barrier to entry to get them to buy something versus being a lead. So once again, if you're looking for purchases, I'd recommend starting the budget between $50 to $100 a day. If it's leads, I could probably drop that down between $30 to $60 a day. And starting around there is usually a good spot. So that's the first thing. It's just making sure your budget's set up right, depending on what you're optimizing for. Make sure you're optimizing for the right thing. And then I usually like to have 3, maybe 4 ad sets, each testing a different audience, each testing a different ad, and seeing which kind of gets the results the fastest. And this exact same campaign that we launched today, I'll just go back here to show you guys. So yesterday, zero spend. It literally was launched here on the 4th. Started spending today. We've already gotten 2 purchases. I'll show on the screen now how we've actually had 2, both attributed to Facebook. Facebook here is just tracking the 1 so far. So the campaign is already break even, and those people are going to come in and become high ticket clients. And the offer is really a big piece of that. But setting it up in this way where you're testing 3 different audiences, 3 different ads in each in this campaign gives you a really strong shot. If I found that we've done this plenty of times with lots of people that we've worked with, and even with ourselves and our ads, and we find that this is a great setup. Now, let's say you've got something that works. Let's say you know you have a few creatives that work well, and you just want to make sure you're kind of conserving your budget as best as possible. I'm going to actually show you my own campaign that I'm running to also get purchases. And I know that the creatives that are in here have performed in the past, but I'm relaunching everything, and I really didn't want to spend a ton of money on this just at the beginning. So what I did in this case, this is a great option and opportunity to take those ads and pair them as a couple ads per ad set. And that's exactly what we did. And you can see here, if I actually kind of span this out a bit more, what we did is I knew these 3 ads had worked in the past, but I wanted to conserve budget. I didn't want to do 3 ads because 1 ad per ad set, because if I was at $30 a day, that's basically $100 a day that I'm spending. Whereas I could just take those 3 ads. I know all of them work to a degree, but I wanted to conserve budget. And this is a great opportunity here where I put them all in here and I let Facebook do its thing. Now what happened is pretty quickly, this ad from the 3 in here got the most sales quickly, great CPA, and it was working very, very well. And I noticed that this ad set had a higher CPM and had a higher cost per link click, lower link click-through rate, and a little bit lower click-through rate. So I was like, okay, I don't think this one's going to work. I believe I left it maybe for another day, and it still wasn't showing performance, so I turned it off. And then this one, because this one was doing so well, I was like, hey, let's just put all that $35 a day to this one. Instead of having Facebook even needing to think about trying to optimize to this one down here. So this is a scenario where I think it's great to actually do multiple ads per ad set. A lot of people do it at the beginning, and I've had times where I'm testing something brand new and I don't know if it works, and I am doing a few ads per ad set. But a lot of the time those tests that I'm doing are based off of a winner that I know. So it's something that's more predictable. So we did that here. We did the exact same thing over here, and these results are a little bit different, which is really great to see. So this one I left for a bit longer. You can see I let this one spend $100. This one had spent, at this point, quite a bit more. But you can see it spent $100. It didn't get a sale, and then I actually should turn this one off. And that's perfect. I mean, $100 a sale for this is actually not too bad. But at this point, I would rather have all that $25 a day going to the one that is getting the majority of purchases. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to figure it out. But once again, this would have been a totally different scenario. I would have been way more kind of touchy with this ad here if it was in a separate ad set, spending $25 a day. It's really only been spending, see, like $1 a day there, $2 a day there, and that other one got a sale, $2 a day there. So it's conservative. It's being cautious of spending all the money over there. And I don't even know which day it spent a lot of money to get it to $100. It looks like over the course of February, it was spending a little bit of money every single day, and it just never really worked. But that is what's nice about this, is I knew that ad worked in the past. I put it in there. It didn't bother me if it didn't work, and kind of went from there. Once again, this can be a great strategy for testing out the gate. It's just not what I like to do, because I've had plenty of cases where I will do this. Facebook will not give this one a proper spend, and it ends up being a winner. And it's like, well, shoot, I should have tested that from the beginning. But if you're basing your creatives or what you're testing off something that's worked in the past, it's a great way to conserve budget. So that's very simply how we set things up for myself and a lot of the clients I work with. 1 ad per ad set, 3, maybe 4 different audiences that you're testing, a very specific, unique creative for each one, and we kind of go from there. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you a couple of the creatives that we've seen to work very, very well for our clients and for us, and that should be it. Okay, so a couple of creatives that I like to launch with. I just want to kind of quickly go through some of these. First one are meme ads. These are still doing very, very well for us across the board. So I'd really recommend going to, I think it's imageflip.com, and you can get some new meme creatives. Infographics also work very well, super simple, like these ones. I'd highly recommend doing something like that. Another meme image that has worked very well for us. The next one that a lot of people underestimate is a blunt post. And all that is basically something like this, where it's just background, text, calling out your ideal customer avatar, and giving them a call to action. These crush it for us. The client that I was just showing, we run blunt posts and have been running blunt posts for years now, and they always do great. And you can make them a bit fancier. You can kind of do something like this, or you can keep them very, very simple. It doesn't need to be anything too complicated. The last one that I want to show you really quick are before and afters. This is a before and after style that we've seen to work very, very well on Facebook ads. And I know Facebook can be iffy with before and afters, but if you structure them correctly, they can work really, really well. And it doesn't have to be like a no 6-pack versus 6-pack, like something very noticeable. It can just be 2 different images, and the copy kind of does the rest of the heavy lifting. So these are just a few creatives that have worked really well for us. If you're interested in getting more of these creatives, there's a link below where you can grab an ad pack that has over 100 creatives that we update every single month, so you can test them. No pressure, but it is there if you guys enjoyed these creatives, if these are giving you some inspiration. Outside of that, that's all I got for this video. If you're interested in more marketing and paid advertising advice so you can grow your business effectively and predictably, join the Skool community that I have in the link below. We give a ton of resources, value, and we'll audit your ad account as well, totally free. So check it out below, and I'll see you in the next one.